here is post-award. What is it? So the phase that begins after the negotiations and acceptance. I briefly mentioned pre-award and the important role that they play in post-award management is because the proposal budget sets the tone for what we'll see throughout the post-award phase, right? So they have a series of actions that they engage in with the department or PI, depending on the structure at your respective institution, that ultimately gets us to a place where a budget and a budget justification is being provided, which will transition into that post-award phase. Again, that's setting the tempo, right? If they're doing some of the necessary due diligence that we need and will require, it's going to make life throughout the post-award phase a lot easier, right? There's some challenging questions around cost accounting standards. Are we asking them during the proposal phase so that, again, as it transitions, we're in a better shape? We certainly hope so. So a very, very important role. And for us in the post-award phase, it's important for us to know that because when things arise, we want to make sure we can engage that conversation with our pre-award folks to ensure we're all on the same page. Yeah. Communication is key. Communication is key.
What's also key is the relationship between pre and post-award central office. There's no escaping the fact that something will arise, and the better you have a relationship between those offices, easier it is to resolve those issues.
For sure, for sure. The core purpose is to ensure compliance throughout the award closeout phase. Functions include implementing grant and award setup, so award management, non-financial and financial, invoicing and reporting, and completing the closeout requirement. So at my particular institution, our post-award function is split between non-financial and financial. So our OSP department handles all non-financial award setup requirements. We're counting on them to set the account up in our financial system with all that correct information that we need to hit the ground running. We're also counting on them to interpret things in a way that's consistent so that we're all, again, on the same page. That's key. Ultimately, the financial aspect of it, again, is managed throughout our office, but it's really, again, that first step of award setup where I'm encouraging my staff to take a deep look at how this is being set up. And if there are any questions, let's address them right then and there. Yeah. Let's not allow this thing to get out the gate with anything that's ambiguous or slightly confusing. So.
Yeah, I would just like to add also, we're counting on the pre-award team to understand sort of what our bandwidth is and the things that we actually can perform. If they go into agreements with, let's say, deliverables or due dates that we just wouldn't be able to meet, it sort of puts the institution in a very awkward situation. So that relationship between the offices really matter. I know at my institution, our pre-award team, anytime they get an agreement where a final report may be due, in a very unreasonable amount of time, let's say 10 or 15 days, they're always coming over to us asking us, hey, does this work for you guys? Or are you able to do it? And most of the time we say no. So they're thinking about us before they're even executing these agreements. And that's very helpful.
And what Lamar is specifying is the negotiation phase. So we'll get to that slide in a few seconds where it shows the entire life award cycle. But prior to that proposal development, proposal development, then negotiation, right? So our OSP office is the signature authority of saying, yes, we can meet the terms and conditions of this award. Mm-hmm. And if there's something that, again, from a bandwidth standpoint, we know is going to really compromise our ability to deliver, let's talk about it, right? Before we unknowingly sign into something that's going to put us in a tough situation.